I warned her. Before the lights, before the speeches, before the crowd turned its hungry eyes on us, I said it quietly, just once. Don't humiliate me tonight. She smiled like she always did when she thought she had me under her thumb. Relax, she said. It's just business. It wasn't. The applause hit like static when she took the stage. She moved with precision, a predator dressed in gold. I stood in the shadows, waiting for my name, my work, my award. Instead, she turned, smiled, and handed it to him, her lover. He kissed her cheek in front of everyone. Cameras flashed. The sound of glass clinking filled the silence in my chest. I didn't say a word. I just walked out. Halfway through the parking lot, her phone rang in my pocket. I'd taken it earlier without thinking. A voice, trembling, gasped through the speaker. "Claire, it's me. God, what have you done? The board just called. Your nomination. It's gone. They're pulling everything. You've ruined yourself." The line went dead. I stood under the floodlights, listening to the faint hum of the world collapsing, and smiled for the first time in months. She thought I didn't know. The late nights, the whispered calls, the mentorships that somehow always involved champagne. She'd tell me it was strategy, networking. She'd laugh when I asked who she was seeing. "You're too serious," she'd tease. But she underestimated how quietly I watch. I'd built her career, introduced her to the very people she now used to crawl her way up. She didn't start with ambition, she borrowed mine. It wasn't just infidelity, it was theft. She took my reputation, my ideas, my work, and wore them like perfume. When I found her messages with him, I didn't rage. I studied. The way she spoke to him wasn't love. It was leverage. She used affection like a scalpel. The affair was just another transaction. And I realized then, it wasn't about betrayal. It was about control. She needed me small so she could feel infinite. That night, as she slept beside me, I opened her laptop. Every file, every correspondence, every project proposal she'd ever sent. And I smiled, because I recognized every word. Mine. I began my work the way a surgeon prepares for an incision. Quiet, deliberate, unflinching. First, I traced the timeline of her lies. Each meeting, each business trip, each carefully phrased promise to the board. I found the emails she thought she deleted, the drafts, the stolen presentations, the contracts under her name that were built on my data. She had built her empire on foundations I'd laid, and I was done letting her walk over them. I reached out to her mentor first, a woman who'd always adored her brilliance but suspected her vanity. I sent her documents, real ones, raw and dated. Let her see what was borrowed, what was stolen, what was manufactured. Then I called the head of the board, a man with more pride than mercy. I told him a story, half truth, half confession. I said, "You're being played. She's about to cost you millions." He didn't ask how I knew. Power doesn't question power when it hears the truth. I didn't confront my wife. I let the silence rot between us. I watched her prepare for the gala, lips painted, mask perfectly fitted. She thought she was ascending. I was already pulling the ground from under her. The fallout came fast. The board withdrew her nomination hours before the ceremony, but she didn't know. The room was still clapping when the emails hit her phone. I saw it happen. That flicker of confusion when her mentor wouldn't meet her eyes. The strain in her voice when she called out my name, searching the crowd, as if I could still save her. Then she gave the award away, to the man who'd helped destroy her. A desperate move to prove control she no longer had. And while she laughed for the cameras, her world was already unraveling behind her. When the call came, the one from her mentor, the one that shattered her composure, I was already outside, the echo of her laughter still lingering behind me. The first time she ever cried in public, it wasn't out of guilt, it was disbelief. She couldn't fathom losing something she thought she owned. I didn't look back. She came home at dawn, mascara streaked, voice gone, still wearing the dress. She didn't ask how I knew. She didn't need to. She looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time, like the man she had dismissed was suddenly real and dangerous. "You ruined me," she whispered. I poured her a glass of water, set it on the table. "No," I said. "You did." I handed her a folder, printed emails, board statements, every lie she'd built a crown from. She flipped through them in silence. Her hands shook. When she finally looked up, there was nothing left in her eyes. Not anger, not fear, just emptiness. "You planned this," she said. "Yes." The word hung there, final. She reached for me then, not out of love, but habit. I stepped back. "You always said I'd destroy us," I told her. "You were half right." She moved out a week later. No lawyers, no apologies, just quiet packing in the dark. I found one of her awards in the trash the next morning, still engraved with both our names. I left it there. People called to ask if I was okay. I told them I was fine. But fine isn't peace. It's emptiness with edges. Sometimes I still see her on TV. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes anymore. She talks slower, careful now, afraid of her own shadow. I don't feel satisfaction when I watch her, just distance. Because revenge isn't victory, it's clarity, and clarity is colder than hate. That night at the gala, I didn't lose her, I removed her.